Hey everyone, welcome to Soul on Fire. My name is Noelle Agape and I am your host. And I am so excited today because we have a leading expert in health, wellness, and consciousness with us today, Ricky Mendez. He is amazing and beautiful, and we're going to bring him on in just a little bit. Thank you so much for being here. And guys, thank you for watching the live. We today have such an amazing show for you because we are going to go deep into the mind-body connection. We're going to go deep into connecting to your body. We're going to go deep into talking about what it looks like on the molecular level and actually consciousness from the inside out. We're going to bring the highest version of you outside to and talk about health. We're going to talk about fitness. Ricky Mendez, he is a international speaker. He is just pretty much a badass, right? He's a really cool, incredible guy that is changing the world through fitness and health and wellness. He has so many things going on, and guys, he's going to teach you how to actually have wellness from the inside out. So I'm so excited. Thank you for being here. Thank you for those that are watching the replay. Again, my name is Noelle Agape, and I am a leading expert in health, wellness, and consciousness. And so today, our life hack, I'm so excited to talk about our life hack today because our life hack today is about your internal guidance system and how your body has an intelligence. It has an internal intelligence, just like nature, just like a plant, just like grass. You know, if you're planting a seed in something and it grows, it just has an internal understanding of what it's supposed to be. When you're at your highest version of yourself and you're at a higher vibration and you're eating things and you're eating food that is at a higher vibration, you're drinking water that is at a higher vibration, you're putting things into your body that at the molecular level that have a vibration of a higher vibration, your internal guidance system speaks to you. Now, you guys know that I talk energy all day, every day, right? We talk about the quantum fields. We talk about going into the depths of the quantum fields, but your higher self, God, source, the universe, whatever it is that you believe in, even if it's just a higher version of you, is talking to you all day, every day. And so with that, the more that you are tapped into your body and the more that you're tapped into what's going on with your body, your organs actually talk to you. Your stomach actually talks to you. Your gut talks to you. I say all the time, guys, that you have three brains. Your regular brain, that is like your ego, and that's, you know, all of your belief systems that you have in the paradigms that have been encompassed pretty much from, you know, it could be ancestral to all the way through what you're living today, from your childhood all the way today. Your second brain is in your gut, and that's really where like the serotonin and the oxytocin and the dopamine and all the happy pills are in your gut, right? And so we're going to talk about how to get those from your gut to your brain. We're going to talk about how to understand what's going on in your gut. We're going to talk about what that looks like when all of those beautiful chemicals that are natural in your body come out and how you actually get to live a higher version of yourself. We're also going to talk about the next brain, which is your heart, right? And your heart, when you're in the heart energy and you're expanding your mind and your body and you're working with the three brains, you're actually your conscious, unconscious, and subconscious mind, which, you know, I teach because I'm an NLP trainer. You're working with your gut and your body, and you're actually, you know, biochemically getting your body to a place of homeostasis. And then you're working in your heart center and you're coming out from a higher vibration. Those three places in your body, on top of every organ, on top of every cell in your body, they actually have an internal intelligence, and they teach you all day, every day. So if you've ever eaten a food and just been like, oh, wow, I kind of feel a little funky. I just ate something and I don't feel good. Or you like ate something and then you're so energized and you put good food into your body actually talks to you and tells you immediately. And I teach intuitive eating, right, on top of the NLP and the quantum work. You have to start with the body, right? And we go through the journey of the body, the mind, the energy fields, and then getting you to your soul's purpose. You really can't be in alignment with any of the higher realms, the soul and your mind, and if your body is not in alignment. So where do you start? You start by making really good choices, right? A healthier choice to not go to McDonald's and put some greens in your body instead. A healthier choice to not have toxic energy or toxic people around you, right? A healthier choice of doing things that bring you joy and really what lights your soul on fire. This show is called Soul on Fire, right? So you start by making choices every single day, and then you bring those choices out And you do that for 30 days. And I promise you that your body, your mind, and your soul will change, and your energy will change. If you just start making conscious choices with who you are, you start listening to your body. And I promise you guys, the more that you're in alignment with your higher self, the more that you're in alignment with your body, the more that you are in alignment with who you are, one, the better choices that you make, but the happier you are. And two, you really just start to dance with the universe, right? You get on this realm where it's like, oh no, go this way. Okay. And then you meet somebody and you have this beautiful experience, and or your business explodes. And it's like, no, do this. And so those hits of your intuitive hits are not something that is just like, oh, I think that's a little bit of a hunch, I'm just going to follow it. It's actually really, it's your highest self coming through you. And when you are in alignment with your body and your mind and your energy fields, that is when you really get to higher realms. You dance with the universe. Your life starts to look like the life of your dreams. When you live in the lower vibrations of fear, when you live in the lower vibrations of anxiety and depression, that actually affects your body on a chemical level. It affects you on a cellular level and a molecular level. And that's where disease starts to happen, guys. And so it's not just, oh my gosh, you wake up and you have a cold, or you wake up and especially with all COVID going on and everything. And your body builds up the energy. One, it builds up the negativity that's stored in there. It builds up the energy, as well as it builds up from it could be from when you're a child, right? Your limiting beliefs or what you're putting in. So the toxicity that it is in there, it's not just an overnight thing and you wake up and you're sick, or you wake up and you have cancer. You actually have developed that from the toxicity that you're putting in your mind and your body, right? So we're going to go deep into that with Ricky today. Thank you again for being here on this beautiful show, because we are going to help you get well from the inside out. Guys, I am super, super excited to bring Ricky Mendez on, because he is such an expert on just all things wellness. And we will be right back and in just a minute, and we'll... Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are here with a beautiful man that is bringing incredible wellness to the world. Thank you everybody that's on the show. Thank you for everyone that's watching the replay. We are going to go deep into health and wellness, and wealth too. We're going to go deep into wealth of the body and the mind. We're going to go deep into wellness and health, wellness, and consciousness from the inside out. We're here with fitness. He's an international speaker. He's a fitness expert. He's a wellness expert. He is pretty much just a badass in the health and wellness industry. So welcome, Ricky. How are you?
Awesome. Thank you, Noelle. I love the intro and the music, and I also have a takeaway of Dance with the Universe. I love that phrase.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. Well, I kind of live my life like that, right? I mean, it truly is. The more that we're tapped in, the more we actually get to play, and we get to be in unicorn land, right? And we need more of that today, more than ever. So tell us a little bit about you and your journey, because I know, gosh, your parents have such a background in health and wellness too, right? And then how did you get to where you are? You're speaking all over the world about health and wellness, and just share a little bit about you and your journey and how you got here.
Sure. Thank you. My parents, in terms of health and wellness, I think the best thing that they ever did for me was take risk. I think that's a great form of health and wellness. And I was a CEO of a home energy company, and I had about 7 offices in Southern California. We did a wellness event for fun. Long story short, a woman confided me at that event, and she actually asked me to coach her husband. I didn't do coaching at the time. And she had 2 kids, very young, 3 and 6. And I said, and she was married and had some challenges or, whatnot. And I said, look, I'm not married, I don't have kids. I don't know what that's like. I don't know what that arena is like. I've heard it's extremely challenging, but also rewarding. But I didn't want to be like, oh, well, try this. I said, what I do feel I'm good at, and I'm learning all the time, is how to choose an empowering perspective. So I gave her something to implement. She said it changed the dynamic with her mornings and her children and her relationships. And I quit my job 10 days after that.
Wow, that's amazing.
It was the best feeling that I ever had, and I became addicted to it. So that's kind of how I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm gonna figure it out.
Well, I love that so much, and I speak all the time about fear as an entrepreneur. Probably it's one of the biggest things that we have to go through at every stage of entrepreneurship, right? I mean, I see this all the time. Is that my coach Regan Hillier? She taught me it's like you go from a solopreneur to an entrepreneur a solopreneur to a freedompreneur, to which you can travel all over the world, you do anything. Then you go to an entrepreneur, but then like going from an entrepreneur to global impact, that's where it's the pocket is, right? And anybody can open up a business. Anyone can just say, oh, hey, I'm going to go open up a business. But the fear that comes with it and we're going to talk about fear and what that looks like actually, not just energetically, but also in your body and how it stores on in a molecular and cellular level. Right. And so, I think at every stage that you go through in life, wherever there's growth, there's always fear behind it because I use fear as a motivator, right? It's just, I'm an adventure junkie and I'll jump off a cliff in Bali or whatever it may be. And I use that same fear that I would jump off the cliff or go skydiving to be like, okay, I see you, fear. Let's go. Let's move. Let's do this. And, I left a 6-figure job to be an entrepreneur and, moving every stage. I think the hardest one, not hardest, but the most challenging was the global impact was I was stepping into my soul's purpose, right? Because the other ones I was trained for, I went to school for, and it was just like I was growing and it was hard to grow. But when you step into your soul's purpose, I think that's where it's like every fear comes up because it's like, whoa, this is global impact, right? And so let's talk a little bit about fear and what that looks like from the health realm, because fear is such a fear and anxiety and all of the lower vibrations, but 2, what it looks like in the physical, because your whole thing is wellness and fitness, right? And so how does that look like on the cellular and the molecular level from the body point of view?
Yeah, I mean, I think when people really start looking at what is it that they want, no matter what, like you're going to go towards, there's going to be self-doubt. There's going to be forms of fear. So number one for me is it's normal. Like I'm not the only one that's scared out there and I'm not afraid to admit it. Like it's okay to be scared. It's okay to have self-doubt. Anybody watching this, you got self-doubt. I'll tell you that right now. It's not a matter of having the self-doubt. What do we do about it? What are my goals? What are my dreams? How bad do I want to get there? Where do I need to go? Those types of things. So just acknowledging it and not trying to hide it. I think that's one thing that I'll give you an example. So my high school sent me something, said, hey, we see what you're doing. Can you write up a little thing on what you're doing and speaking all over the world? I said, I'll only do it on one condition. If you publish also all the doubts that I had and all the failures that I had and all the crap that I went through to talk about the good stuff. I don't think we talk about all the challenges and the fears, because just like you're talking about internally, when you get into the epinephrine and the adrenaline, the cortisol and all that stuff, it's okay that it's there. It's just, what are we going to do about it? And for me, number one, acknowledging and say, look, that's okay. That's normal. And I can have an opportunity here to convert it into a way that serves me. And now it's not so scary. The more I look at it, it's not so scary. So one thing I do each month is I do something that scares the crap out of me just so I can kind of work on that muscle. Yeah.
Me too. I say all the time, I'm like, yeah, I think that like I thrive on the growth and the fear because it's like, it's this challenge. It's like, oh, okay, I see you, but I'm still going to jump off that cliff. and I think we live our lives by, it scares the crap out of me, right? And so let's talk about that, and let's talk about the body and starting with the body with health and wellness, right? And you talked about the different chemicals that are produced from fear, right? Let's talk about that from a sense of a biochemical point of view of when you are in fight or flight, and when you're in a parasympathetic and sympathetic, your nervous system goes two totally different places. It's your vibration of your body or energy. And let's talk about like on the physical level, right? That the journey that I teach is you start with the body, and then you go to the mind, and then you go to the energetic fields, and then you go to your soul's purpose. But we can't do anything unless we start at the body, right? So let's start there and talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think simple understanding of when I'm in fight or flight, when I'm in that fear, when I'm in that stress, immune system shuts down. Not good. Like it automatically shuts down. So now that in and of itself is fearful, right? But the acknowledgement of knowing that empowers me, because then it's a simple decision-making choice at that point. I get to choose dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, adrenaline, cortisol, and epinephrine. Good or bad, I choose every single second of every single day, whether we know it or not, we like it or not, we choose. Whatever it is, 30 to 70,000 thoughts a day, we choose. So that kind of accountability to me is like everything, just the simple awareness. I think if we raise the awareness, now we can make an empowered choice. It may not be a choice that hurts us, it may be a choice that serves us, but we get to choose. And I think one of the things that I love is those sayings that are corny and trite. They're corny and trite because they're true. So strength truly does grow through struggle. We post that stuff on social media all the time, and we say these things, but do we actually live by it? I think that's just simple awareness for me anyway. When I have these fearful thoughts, I can acknowledge it because the game has slowed down, and I can choose to choose in a more empowering perspective. So just being able to, in that realm of dealing with it and not just brushing it off or doing all these things of what people can typically go to, whether it's drug, whether it's alcohol, whether it's denial, whatever it is, when we sit with it and acknowledge it, now I start to have power over it. It does not have power over me.
I love that. I love that. And, I say all the time, through your pain is your purpose. And so I don't believe that you can get to your soul's purpose without going through the pain to understand what's going on. And I think the more conscious you become, the more tapped in with health and wellness, the more, tapped in with the mindset, that it gets easier every time. But I think that there, you just can't say, oh, I'm in unicorn land and everything is perfect. And yes, I live in unicorn land, and I have gone through massive trauma in my life to get to where I am. So let's talk about the actual mindset and how that's connected to health, because it's they go hand in hand, right? Without one, you can't have the other. You can't have overall wellness you can't be healthy in your mind without being healthy in your body. And you can't be healthy in your body without being healthy in your mind. And you can't have a healthy soul if neither one of those are healthy, right? And so let's talk about that.
Yeah, I think one of the things for personally, one thing that I know is that when I feel that I've made progress, it doesn't have to be magnanimous. It doesn't have to be, massive progress, just a little bit, incremental, tiny steps. That makes me feel good. It's just a simple data system. Now I feel good. Okay, let's make a little bit more progress. Oh, guess what? The world kicks us in the teeth. We get a setback. Then I have a new set point. What's the progress point from that? What's the progress point from that? If I can just we're so impatient, and we don't celebrate little wins, and nothing's ever good or fast enough. And it's like we're completely forgetting to enjoy the journey. And I'll use it right now. I believe those little journey, little incrementations of success or progress, no matter how big or small, to me, that's dancing with the universe. Now I have a partner to be able to do that. And one thing that triggers that a lot is the thing that scares the crap out of me is looking back at the end of my life and saying, dang, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that. We're not getting out of this thing alive. So at the end of the day, I will always look back to say, hey, I took a shot. Whether I failed or whether I fell on my face, whether I succeeded, I took a shot. And those little progress steps, just the fact of taking a chance, I think is a progress step. So I think that's a good implementation thing. What progress have you made? If you need to go get into shape, did you look at some running shoes? You know what I mean? Like, so smart to get to celebrate. People when in consulting or whatever, they can tell me with excruciating detail everything they screwed up and how bad it went and how they let everybody down. What we don't do is we all have greatness. We've all done great stuff too, like it's a reservoir to go to help empower us to take another step, I feel.
I love that so much. There were so many juicy tips in there. That was amazing. And so let's talk about what it looks like to be, consciously. And I say this all the time, live consciously, right? Choice. One of the biggest things that you said in that whole segment was that you said choice. we get to choose, right? We get to choose who we want to be. We get to choose where we want to go. And we're not just going to show up tomorrow and wake up and say, oh yeah, by the way, I'm living my soul's purpose. You actually have to do the work. And I say all the time that action is probably one of the biggest things that the universe wants us to do, because it's inspired action, right? When you're doing and you're doing and you're going and you're in that adrenaline mode, it's very, very different than inspired action. And and you're taking the first step, but you're choosing to be there, right? So let's talk about conscious choices and what that looks like, and even like deep health choices, right? Let's go into how your body, if you're, eating crappy food and you're not working out and you're not biophysically, what's going on with your body with food and nutrition and exercise and mindset and meditation and all of the things that we do and implement to do overall wellness. Let's talk about what that looks like biochemically.
Sure. And I think when the world is starving for women empowerment, what you're doing is so powerful because it gives us awareness. If we have awareness, now we can make a different choice. Now, if we know we can make a different choice, now we have freedom. I think that's true freedom in our life. So, and one of my biggest mentors, John Assaraf, he always says, we got $1 billion, $1 trillion biocomputer. Our brain is that. It's right behind me. The Dean of Self-Development, Earl Nightingale. Our brains are the most marvelous, miraculous, inconceivably powerful force the world has ever known. If that's the case, I'm just going to learn how to condition it. The reason why is because everything, when you talk about the three brains, another thing that I really like that you said, when you talk about the brain, the heart, and the gut, if they're not operating on an optimal fuel source, look out. You can have all the empowering perspectives that you want. You're not going to be able to generate biochemically, biologically, the energy within and I think this is why we live in a society that says, take a pill, feel better, take a pill, feel better. And I mean, no in sympathies to people who are challenging with this. I just believe we have all the resources to make ourselves feel abundant and awesome. So if we're not feeding ourselves awesome stuff, it just makes it that much harder to generate the energy, to choose a different perspective, to celebrate the small wins, to keep progressing, to stay persistent. So the things that we eat, and when I talk about consumption, I mean what we drink, what we eat, what we think, environmentally, all those things. And I also want to preface this. I sometimes when I go off on the health and wellness channel, which I can, people think I'm all the time. Like it's not about deprivation. I love pizza and I love ice cream and I love sugar. I just look at it in terms of a not balance, but an 80-20 for me, acidity.
I do 80-20 too, and I teach 80-20, right? I teach intuitive eating too. You could say, hey, is my body going to be able to handle this right now? I mean, there are times where my body just can't handle dairy, and there are times where I can handle dairy, right? There are times where my body can handle a little bit more alcohol than others. I'm not polypurebred, but I am 100% clean when I'm 80, and then when I'm 20, I enjoy my life, right? And I think that that's really important, because when you're in the mindset of I can't have that, that's actually when you're training your body to be in lack, right? And you're training your body to be in a really low vibration. Just eat, again, don't just eat Cheetos just to eat Cheetos. Like, make a conscious choice and take a bite of something. And this is what I teach all the time, and tell me if you agree with this, is take a bite of something, pause, and see how you feel. Are you eating that ice cream for an emotional eating? Are you eating that ice cream for the sugar to get the high? Are you what's really going on in your body? Are you just craving ice cream because you really just love ice cream? Which is fine, then have a whole bowl of ice cream, right? But what are the reasons why? And also, you can have good stuff, just you don't have to have 4 bottles of wine and right, and so just everything in moderation. But let's talk about the intuitive eating and how your body has this internal guidance system. And one of the biggest things I say all the time, other than Dance with the Universe, is an acorn never says, oh my gosh, I don't think I'm worthy enough to be that oak tree. You think I could be that oak tree? Oh, I'm going to grow, but I don't know if I could grow as big as an oak tree. An acorn grows to be an oak tree because nature within nature is literally an imprint. And that's what's in us. And if we listen to that intuitive guidance, it's so beautiful, because we can be healthy and we can still enjoy ourselves at the same time, right?
Mhm. Absolutely. And I think that's the funny thing about having $1 billion or $1 trillion biocomputer is it gets in our way. We overthink things like crazy. And I love what you said because it's really slowing the game down. And I think we just and I've been guilty of this too. You're sitting there just eating something and then you're like, oh, I feel, you know what I mean? And we didn't even think about it. Why are we, taking that choice? Why are we going down that road? I'm a dude who loves to eat. So it's something that I've literally worked on, chewing food to slow the game down. That's even something that I've worked on a number of different times. So I think exactly what you said, I 1,000,000% agree with it because it slows the game down. We're not just always reacting and doing these things almost like on autopilot.
So I love that you said autopilot. So let's talk about the mind and how, in NLP, we call it looping and where you just loop through these patterns in your mind, right? And you're stuck in this, and not only in the energy of it, which is the quantum realm, which I'm not going to talk about today, but also from a health perspective, your belief system about your body and your belief system about health and your belief system is almost 100% of what's going to emanate out into the world, right? And so talk about that and how your mind and your body truly have to make that connection.
Yeah, we're programmed, right? We have no choice to be programmed a certain way. And another dear mentor, David Meltzer, says, just because people love you doesn't mean they give you good advice. So we are programmed whether we want or not. Now, the great part about that is we can rewrite it. So when you look at neural networking, and you're much more of an expert on this than me, I know some basic things, but it's enough to have awareness about neural networking and how to, if we think something over and over and over and over and over and over again, if we say something over and over, like you said earlier, I can't have this, I can't have this, I can't have this, I can't have this. You want to talk about pandemics? Let's talk about neural networking. I can't afford it. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. I don't have the money. Those things have killed more goals and dreams than coronavirus ever will. And if we choose a perspective that empowers us, if we look at 2020, I believe it's the greatest time in the human history to be alive. We have the greatest time to expand our minds to what's possible, grow relationships, acquire new skills, but it all starts with that perspective. So that's something that I try to remind myself again every day of, having that kind of neural network or pattern that is going to empower me. So that's something it's just like anything else, but it's programmed one way. It doesn't mean we can't rewrite it. It doesn't mean we can't rescript it. It takes a lot of work and a lot of challenges and a lot of self-doubt, but with help, we can really reprogram ourselves to live a more, in my opinion, fulfilled life.
I mean, that's 100% true. I think, my practice saved my life, right? I teach meditation, I teach neurolinguistics, I teach energy. I'm a health and wellness counselor. All of those combined have saved my life. And I could legitimately say they saved my life. Not, oh, they saved my life, I'm going to go meditate. Like legit, I had anxiety and I was on medication and I did the Western route, right? And that was fine, but it masked everything. And until I did the internal work, nothing actually everything came out. And when you decide to do that internal work, that's when your demons will come out, right? Your shadows will come out. And that's the work that I do deep in the quantum fields, is a shadow work. And it's not an easy journey, right? Because you have to look at yourself in the mirror and you have to love yourself exactly how you are. You have to understand exactly what the programs are that are in your mind that are not yours, that how to reprogram that. You have to make conscious choices to be better every single moment of every day, even in the shadows, right? Even through the shadows. So let's talk about that. And let's talk about the shadow part of health and wellness, because this field is really it's so big in society right now, but there are so many people that you can't just eat an avocado and think everything's going to be happy and bubbly, right? You have to truly, you have to make a commitment. It's a dedication with your body and your mind and the thought process, and it's a dedication to your life and to stepping into a higher realm, right? And so let's talk about going through the darkness in the wellness field, because this is really, there's still gorgeous supermodels that look in the mirror that say, I'm fat and ugly, right? There are men that are just like, I'm not enough, right? And so let's talk about that, because that's such a huge component in society today.
Yeah. And number one, it's normal. It's normal. There's not one person that's living without self-doubt. It happens every day to every person. So let's normalize it. You know, self-doubt is just, it's part of it. It's part of this ball game. It's part of dancing with the universe. So one thing that I use all the time is, look, where do I want to go? What's the price I'm willing to pay? And I got that from another mentor. But those are such great inter-reflective questions, because like and this is what people do. Yap, 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 yap. And then we're all excited, we're all motivated, there's zero implementation. So I have to think of an attitude of gratitude for when people call me a motivational speaker, because my ears want to bleed. I think I'm an implementational speaker, so we deal with small implementations that actually change behavior. So now when awareness goes up, I can make a better choice. So when I'm going through challenges like that, I simply ask myself, where do I want to go, and what's the price I'm willing to pay? If I'm willing to pay the price of looking at self-doubt and looking at myself in the mirror, mentally naked, you know, and just really say, I'm just not where I'm at yet. That's one thing I always put on. I'm just not there yet. I am making progress. Good job, Ricky. I can do this. Good job, Ricky. I'm just not there yet. Look where I was. You know, look where let's take a second. Let's just take a second to celebrate some small victories and look at the I just did this with my mom. She's trying to lose weight. And she's like, oh, I'm having challenges with this and this. I said, hey, when you were out here before, she was 250 when she was out here. She's 230 now. Wow. So she kept 20 pounds off over a long time, but she was looking at the 1 pound that she gained yesterday. So it's like, let's look at the progress.
You glass of water and gain a pound. So
yeah, right.
It's really not about the pounds. It's actually about the body mass and adjusting your body mass and a different place of wellness. And you could be 250 pounds and be way healthier than a 100-pound person. Just so that's a little pivot for your mom. So you have to find beauty within, and that's beauty for a man too. And I think that men probably have it, and women get this paradigm really, and then we're going to take a quick commercial break, but I do want to say this, is that women are, we're under this, where the beauty aspect that we have to, as we age, it's really hard for us. But I think for men, it's the good enough, right? I have to be good enough. I have to make enough money. I have to do this. And there's always something that, whether it's a man or a woman, that you have, that it's within us, that we're programmed that we're not good enough in some way. And that's just a society thing that we really have to break. And it's actually one of, I think, and we'll come back in just a minute and talk about it, but I think like your shirt, right? Holding yourself accountable and making conscious choices and not living in the paradigms of society that we've been programmed to, especially in health and wellness. I think that that's such a huge choice. So we will be right back, guys. Thank you, Ricky. We just give us 1 minute and we'll be right back. Our show today is sponsored by my company, NoelleAgape.com and Noelle Agape Global. We have Soul on Fire, Infinite Wellness, and Noelle Agape Global all coming together. And we are sponsored today by it. We will be right back, guys. Welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for those of you that are joining us. Thank you for those that are watching on the replay. Today we are here and we are talking about all things health, wellness, and consciousness. We're talking about making the mind-body connection. We talked about overcoming fear. We talked about the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system and how your body's affected in fight or flight. We talked about what it looks like to move to the next level and actually be in the realm of making choices to be the best version of you. Welcome back, Ricky. Thank you so much for being here. We are now going to talk about accountability, right? Let's talk. I love your shirt because that's really where the direction we're going to talk about. So wellness, overall wellness, and health and wellness is such a paradigm, right? So I just say overall wellness all the time and put it in that category because it truly is our responsibility, right? We have to make a conscious choice to be overall wellness. And again, it's not eating an avocado or, there are many, many athletes out there that are super unhealthy, right? And there are many actually people that eat really healthy that internally or mentally are super toxic. So let's talk about being accountable for your mind, your body, your soul, your consciousness, bringing your gifts to the world and what that looks like, being a conscious leader, because you are, you speak all over the world and you're a conscious leader. Let's talk about that, because that's really, it's easy to be in health and wellness because it's the number, I think, 2, other than technology, it's the number 2 field, right? But to be a conscious leader in this field, let's talk about that. Let's talk about being accountability for you and what that looks like as a conscious leader.
Yeah, I always just kind of say it's on me, in whether we believe, again, in God, energy, source energy, co-creation. I think when I look, it's on me. I that gives me freedom because it allows me to not play the blame game. The blame game is exhausting, and everybody wants to blame this person, a mother, a father, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a husband, a wife, a brother, a cousin. I mean, we will find 1,000,001 excuses of why it didn't work out for us. And that, when we start talking about all the things that we've talked about in terms of energy, biochemistry, neurochemistry, biologically within the cell, and we start just assigning blame everywhere, it drains you. And then you carry an energy and an aura of people just don't want to be around. I forget, I think it was Stephen Hawking that said, when people complain, no one wants to help you. And that's so true. And that's what we do when we start blaming this and blaming that and complaining about this and complaining about that. That, you want to talk about pandemics? Again, there is a person. So there's a thing. But if I just remind myself, I am accountable. I am accountable. Call it an affirmation, an incantation, just a simple brain reminder. I am accountable. So what I'm going through a crap storm and I just got kicked in the teeth? How can I learn? How can I grow? What can I learn from this? And it just redirects everything from a mental standpoint. When we start talking about those neural networks, it's a practice, right? I can practice to choose to get a good perspective. So how can I learn? How can I grow from this? What can I learn? Those are 2 things that remind me that I'm accountable. It's on me. Absolutely.
I love that so much. And I do that on a daily basis, actually. I mean, I meditate for an hour in the morning and I set my intention for the day. So I'm literally, I am visualizing and I'm setting my intentions for the day, going into the day. At the end of the day, I clear my energy and I actually say, what did I learn? Every single day I do this. I say, what did I learn today? Oh, okay. And when a trigger comes up, because, I've done this for 17 years. I have a coach, I have a spiritual advisor. And I still get triggered, right? I mean, I teach this all day, every day, and I'm still human and I'm still embodied in a human body and not ascended yet, right? So I still have some lessons to learn. So that's such a huge component. Let's talk about the lessons and what life teaches you and how you have 2 choices to be accountable at that point. You can actually say, what is this teaching me? How can I be better, right? I mean, I was on the call with, that I'm building my company. We're growing to global impact. And I'm on the phone with my attorney and literally something came up and all these different things came up and I just stopped her and I said, how can I be better? And she said, Noelle, I have never in 30 years had someone ask me that question on a call. And I just said, if I can't be better from this, then my company's not going to be better from that. So how can I be accountable for what, and let's talk about responsibility and not being responsible for other people's emotions. Be accountable for you and your emotions, but not other people's, right? And it's so talk about that. I know I said a lot, but
yeah. So the lessons part, lessons for me just come from being open-minded. There's something to learn. There's something to research. There's something to learn, whether I'm actively researching it on the computer, whether I'm talking to somebody, whether I'm helping somebody, whether somebody's helping me. There's lessons everywhere. It's just a matter of my ears are open. And so with that, in the last, probably I'd say specifically 18 months, 24 months, 36 months, I got suggestion for all the men out there. Learn from more women.
Wait, say that again.
It's true. And I'll give you an example of it. Learn from more women. And it's because men and women, I think, have such different perspectives. What an unbelievable opportunity to at least gain a different perspective, whether you agree or disagree. Gain a new perspective. And I think that's something that's why what you're doing and people on your team are so powerful is because in my arena, it's like 98% men.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you a perfect example of how this hit me right between the eyes. I was at an event called World's Greatest Motivators. And I was so amped. And my dear mentor, David Meltzer, he was like, here, come backstage. Just you hang with me all day. I was like, I'm a sponge. Front row ticket. Whenever I go to an event, I'm front row. I'm taking notes. I'm like, teach me something. And with some of my biggest mentors, Jack Canfield, Dave, John Assaraf, Bob Proctor, they're all there. I'm like, this is going to be awesome. My biggest takeaway over the entire weekend was one sentence that Shanda Sumter said. And she said, I actually believe I can change the world. And I was like, man. And I
actually believe that. I really do.
If Jack or John or David or Bob had said that, I don't know if it would have had the same impact on me. And we talk about whatever label we want to give it, whether it's energy or frequency or vibration or whatever, there's such an opportunity that I look at it as an untapped resource, basically, is to gain perspective from people that aren't like me. So that's one thing in terms of lessons. I think that's something that's super, super powerful.
I love that so much. And I say all the time, right? I mean, and then I am always, in every breath, I am a teacher now because we're experts at our field, and I'm a student at the same time, right? And at the moment that I don't become a student is the moment I never become a teacher again in my life, right? It's because those two go hand in hand. If you're so far into your ego that you don't think you have something to learn from somebody on this earth, then you should take a step back, right? And because honestly, if you're not learning, you're not growing, and if you're not teaching after you learn, like I say that all the time, we learn things so that we can go out and teach. And so let's talk that's the next phase, right? Is your soul's purpose. Both of us are living our soul's purpose. Both of us are making global impact. Both of us are doing this at very, very high levels, which is amazing and wonderful. But let's talk about the soul's journey and getting here, right? For me, it was your soul just gets pulled, right? And it's like, no, go this way. No, go this way. No, I'm telling you to go this way. Okay, you're gonna go that way, right? And so let's talk about like global impact and being a conscious leader and how that looks, because it's such a responsibility to be accountable. It's such a responsibility to make conscious choices on a daily basis. It's not an easy journey to be at global impact and be conscious at that stage, right? I mean, all of those men and that beautiful woman, they're such powerful leaders, but they're conscious leaders, right? And so let's talk about being a conscious leader.
Yeah, I think it starts with starting small. You know, global impact sounds magnanimous, and it is, but it started with one person, you know, and it's something that I think that's where, for me, the fulfillment track is like, who is helping me get to where I want to go, and who am I helping to get to where they want to go? I think it's a balance. And if there's another little implementation hack here, is learn from somebody younger. And when I mean younger, I mean younger. So we just did a call on one of my teams where a 7-year-old came in. It was a Q&A with a 7-year-old, and she is named the Brighton Hatter, and she was awesome. And she gave such a fresh perspective. So when you look at global impact, people like, oh, I could never do that. Start with one person, and I mean small. So I live a block from the ocean in Southern California. I love running down the beach. In 2020, you can see fear in people's eyes. I mean, literally, you can look at them and see fear. And sometimes when I'm running, I will make eye contact. I got chubby cheeks. So when I smile, my cheeks kind of go like this, and I give a thumbs up. And just that to me is making an impact on somebody. And then do it again. And then it could be as small as a smile. It can be a stranger. But that can lead and grow exponentially, compoundingly into global impact. So I think when somebody hears like, oh, I could never do that, BS. Like, you absolutely can. Because I'm sure with everything that you're doing, it probably started with one person, maybe a couple of people. And then guess what? They shared what you taught them with a couple of people. And you shared what you learned from somebody else with a couple of people. And it spreads and spreads and spreads, especially when you can impact somebody's life. They will do everything for you. And I know your mentors are probably the same. My mentors just say, pay it forward. What can I do for you? Yeah. Pay it forward. What can I do for you? Share the content. What can I do for you? Help somebody else. That's all I ever get asked from my mentors. So it's like, okay, that's what I'm going to pass on. That's how I can honor them.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful gift. I mean, it truly is. And I say this all the time that our gifts are never our own, right? And so when we allow our gifts to come through us and we bring that out to, and I love what you said, and I live my life by this, is Bob down the street or the postman or the man in front of you at the grocery store. It's not, oh my gosh, how many people can I impact? Yeah, you and I speak all over the world, and we're on TV, we have this glamorous life, which is fun and wonderful. And right, I'm nice to kind to the waiter and the cleaning ladies are one of the most important people. And it's, if you're not at the human level, you don't have kindness at the human level, then you can never ever make it to global impact, right? And you don't know what's going on in that person's world, right? That one smile, that one thumbs up that you were saying, that one just embrace, that anything that you can do to just, I'm such a huge fan of humanity coming together, that when we actually understand the power that's within us and the gifts that come through us, they're not ours to keep, right? And if you're so in your ego that you think that these are your gifts, then again, you should take a step back, right? So when you look at it from the perspective of, how can I help humanity? How can I be a better human? How can I just put love out into the world? And that's the highest level of consciousness. That's the highest level of health and wellness. It's the highest level of living from your soul, is just saying, I could truly, what can I do to make this world a better place today? And I mean, Ricky, I wake up every single day and I'm like, okay, God, what can I do to be, be a better human? How can I learn today? What do I need to learn today? And what do I need to teach today? And I think those two things anybody can say. What can I learn and what can I teach, right? And so let's talk about what you do, because you have such incredible things that you have going on, right? I mean, you have the water company, you have a hemp company, you do so many things at the molecular level for health and wellness. Let's talk about that and what that looks like.
Yeah, I got into it. I started measuring the pH of my body. So when we look at acidity and alkalinity, and I started researching a lot, I played professional baseball. I got done playing, and then I was playing tennis just for fun. And then within 5 minutes, I was like winded. I was like, what is going on? I've played professional sports. I've played sports my whole life. Why am I playing for 5 minutes and I can barely move? And I never stepped on the scale. I stepped on the scale and I saw my weight. I was 260. I was a middle linebacker in the NFL. And I was like, wait a minute, what? And my whole playing weight was always around, 215, 220. So the weight was just something that was like, there's something else there. So then I didn't focus on the weight. I was like, what's the root cause? Right. So a lot of times we treat symptoms and we don't treat the root cause. Mm-hmm. So the root cause was just, my body was completely acidic. It was inflamed. It was literally killing itself from the inside out, biochemically, neurochemically, biologically. And so then I read a book that changed the trajectory of my life. And I really we're talking about awareness mentally. Now we're talking about awareness, what's driving my energy from the inside out. So I just really started testing the pH of my body. And I went down a rabbit hole of health and wellness. And I am obsessed with organic products that can help the brain, the body, and the gut. And that's where I got into it, because, and for me and us, like, if I'm on stage on something and I share it, I better know how to prove it through brain science. Mm-hmm. I better have documentation to prove it, and it better work. Mm-hmm. If it's not, now I got a whole other host of problems, because now it's my brand online, right? Yeah. So it's something that I spent about a year going down a rabbit hole. I hired a couple of different vitality coaches. I was obsessed with water. I call myself, their friends call me the chemist. I call myself a water snob. I had my mother, who has a PhD in biology, watch 30 hours of water webinars. So I am a bona fide self-proclaimed water snob. And
can I say
yeah. So when we look at like the electricity in our body, and we live in an electrical world, well, water is a conduit in which that electricity happens. Mm-hmm. And then, hemp is, in my opinion, something that was taken away from humanity a long time ago. And now it's back, and it's back with a vengeance, and it is helping people. And that makes me feel good. So that's a short reason why I got into those two specifically. And I'm sure like yourself, I get pitched everything in the moon. And, so for me, it's like, okay, is the world starving for it? Can I prove it? What does it do in the brain? What does it do in the gut? What does it do in the body? And then, another thing I want to do is I want to make some money. I got no problem saying I want to make money. Money helps us. It allows us to get margin for error. It allows us to do a lot of different things. So it checked every box in terms of the health and wellness field for those two products.
So let's talk quickly about what it actually does biochemically with the water that you work with. And I know you're bringing it to Africa, you're bringing it like globally, like all over the world, and what the effects of the water and the effects of the hemp and what that actually looks like. And it's not just regular water like tap water. I mean, we're talking something specific, right? And so talk a little bit about that and what it does biochemically and how it changes actually what's going on in your physical body.
Yeah, sure. So the water, the key caveat is hydrogen, H2, hydrogen gas, molecular hydrogen. In this day and age, you can find a pro and a con for everything, literally everything. I can go online, I can find pro and con. It is almost impossible to find negative things for the body regarding H2. H2 is, in my opinion, the anomaly of health and wellness. It's something that is so powerful and and I think it's the number one antioxidant, number one anti-inflammatory, number one detoxifier. And because of the molecular structure of what this machine does, it can cross the blood-brain barrier. Now we can talk detoxification. It can get within the mitochondria. Now we can talk detoxification. On the hemp side, so a different delivery system, but same type of thing. It can get within the cell. It can cross the blood-brain barrier. It can help take our brain, go from sympathetic to parasympathetic. So now we put these two things together, and now I have something foundationally that is helping me from the inside out. And the way I really, explain it is it slows the game down. It allows me to make a better choice because my operating system is now functioning at optimum levels. That's why we talk about what we eat and things like that. But those two things, it's taken me over a year to really dive and combine these two, but they've exploded. Obviously, there's a global pandemic, so I think that's part of reason why. But the other reason is it's just simply educating and raising awareness about how people are literally poisoning themselves every single second of every single day, and they have no idea. And we wonder why we're sick. So those two things they're changing lives. So that makes me feel awesome. It makes me dive in more, change more lives, feel more awesome, dive in more. You see how it goes and goes.
I love that so much. And so just for our viewers, maybe explain, I know, and you and I could speak biochemical all day, but what is the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system, and how does it affect your body, and how does it affect your mood, and how does it affect what's going on with you? Because it's probably one of the most important things is that we can talk about, right?
Yeah, no, great catch, by the way. So sympathetic is fight or flight, fear, stress, we all know that. And the best way I like to explain it is we've all done this. We're in the car, we're driving, we look at our phone, we shouldn't be, we look up, we're still going full speed, there's brake lights in front of us, the car in front of us is stopped, we slam on the brakes, that literally you feel it. So that is being in that fight or flight, or we have stress at work or the family or whatever. That fight or flight is sympathetic. Into parasympathetic, which is rest and repair, or rest and digest. So it's allowing our brain to slow down. And when we're in parasympathetic, the way I like to explain it is we simply have the ability to respond, and we're not in a reactionary state. I think when we slow the game down, it gives us a better chance to make a better decision that makes us feel better. It's a kind of a loop system like that. But what happens is, especially, you take 2020. Let's look at 2020. Australia was lit on fire. We have some of the most racial tense times in the world today. We've literally seen somebody killed in the streets. We have some of the most political times that we'll ever see. 2020 is literally insympathetic. So, and we're surrounded by this. So what a great opportunity to be able to slow the game down. Am what I'm thinking about, is it helping me or hurting me? A great question to ask self-reflectively.
I love that so much. Is it helping me or hurting me? And those are the choices that you get to make every single day, right? Is this helping me or is this hurting me? Why am I doing this, right? How is this going to make me a better person? Is this going to make me a better person? Every choice that you make is so important. I love that so much, Ricky. Thank you for all those incredible, incredible things. Tell us where our viewers can find you and what are you working on? I know that you have amazing things going on with the water and the hemp. So tell us what you can do and where they can find you.
Thank you. Anything Ricky Mendez, so rickymendez.com. Instagram is Ricky Mendez Speaks. Facebook's Ricky Mendez. just if you Google that. And I'd say probably the number one thing that I just completed, it's still being illustrated, is my children's book. So Dr. Seuss is a huge mentor. And I think when you start with kids who are the eternal optimists, I think we'll have less problems than what we see. Not that they'll go away, but the mentor in the book is a woman. So I thought that was pretty cool. But it's probably my life to date. It's the number one thing that I'm excited about.
I love that. I love that. And so that is such an amazing gift. You are a gift to the world. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for bringing your gifts to the world. Thank you for making this world a better place through health and wellness and consciousness. Thank you for being a conscious leader and stepping into your power. You and I have big things to do. Down the road, we're going to definitely merge and merging the powerhouse of all of our experience as well as all of our gifts together. I think that we're going to do some great things together. So I appreciate you and I honor you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for really truly just changing lives, because that's why we're here, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And thank you so much, and I appreciate it. And it's an honor to be here. I appreciate it.
Oh, well, I will talk to you soon. Thank you again for being here. And for those of you, we will be right back, and then we're going to close with some life choice. Thank you guys so much for being here, and thank you for everyone that's on the replay. Today we had such a beautiful, amazing show. Thank you, Ricky Mendez, for being here. We talked about the mind-body connection. We talked about what it looked like to live consciously, to be a conscious leader, to actually live in your truth, live in yourself, making conscious choices on a daily basis. Guys, I am so excited because we get to bring health and wellness out to the world, and just know that every single day you get to choose. You get to choose who you are. You get to choose what you want to eat. You get to choose what you put into your body. You get to choose the higher version of you always. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, guys, for being here. And never for a moment don't think that I don't appreciate you. I appreciate every one of you for being here and coming on this health and wellness journey with me. I love you guys so, so much. And really, truly, my show wouldn't be anything without you. So I just want to take a moment for appreciation. I want to tell you how powerful you are. I want to tell you how much of a gift you are. I want you to know that you get to choose every single day. You get to choose a better version of you. You get to choose that if there's somebody out there that has no idea where to start, just start by making conscious choices. Today, I'm going to eat a little better. Today, I'm going to think a little bit better. Today, I'm going to actually try a little bit harder. Today, I'm going to take action towards my soul's purpose. That internal guidance system that you have within you, your body is a machine, your brain is a computer. You actually get to program that. You actually get to bring the best version of you out to the world, guys. So I am so, so, so thankful. I love you so much. You have so much power within you, and you are such a gift to this world. Know in every moment that there is never a second that you don't get to step into that power. That power is within you. You get to choose who you want to be. You get to choose who you want to see. You get to choose who you want to spend your life with. You get to choose the energy you surround yourself with. Start with the body, move to the mind, go to the energy fields, and then start from your soul. What pulls your soul is what's absolutely your calling. I love you guys, and you are such an amazing, beautiful gift. Thank you for being here, and thank you for joining us. Please, if you do want to know more about health, wellness, and consciousness, go to noelleagape.com. Like and share and subscribe this video, guys, because we have to bring our gifts out of health and wellness to everybody in this world. And the more that you share this, the more that you let people know that they have choices, the more that they actually get to stand in their truth and they get to live in their power. Again, go to noelleagape.com for all things health, wellness, and consciousness. And I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. you.